Did you know that when it comes to intimacy, there's a fascinating mix of myths, facts, and quirks that shape our experiences? From surprising statistics to untold truths. Today, we're diving into what really goes on behind closed doors. Stick around, because this video is about to change how you think about relationships, connection, and human nature. 1. Intimacy across all boundaries. A deeper connection. Intimacy is a universal part of life, transcending gender, age, and background. It's one of the most profound ways humans connect, yet its role in our lives is often overlooked. Did you know that intimacy isn't just about physical closeness? It's about emotional vulnerability, trust, and shared experiences that bring people closer together. Surprisingly, research has shown that over 30% of Americans experience intimate moments only a few times a month. But here's the twist. It's not about how often we experience intimacy. It's about the quality of those moments. Imagine this. Two people sitting together in silence, but their connection is palpable. A single shared glance can say more than 1,000 words. This is the essence of intimacy. The ability to feel understood, cherished, and connected in ways that go beyond the surface. It's about fostering a space where you can be your authentic self without fear of judgment. But why does intimacy seem so elusive for so many? One reason is the hustle and bustle of modern life. We're constantly juggling responsibilities, leaving little room for genuine connection. Another factor is the misconception that intimacy must be grand or dramatic. In reality, intimacy can be found in the simplest of gestures, a heartfelt hug, an encouraging word, or even a moment of shared laughter. And here's something even more intriguing: the science of intimacy. Studies suggest that frequent, high-quality intimate moments can reduce stress, improve mental health, and even strengthen our immune systems. It's no wonder that some call intimacy the ultimate human superpower. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. True intimacy isn't confined to romantic relationships. It can flourish between friends, family members, and even within oneself. Yes, self-intimacy is a real and powerful thing. Taking time to understand your own emotions, needs, and desires is just as important as connecting with others. So, how can we nurture intimacy in our lives? Start small. Put down your phone during dinner and have a real conversation. Listen, truly listen. When someone speaks to you, be present in the moment, and don't shy away from vulnerability. It's in these seemingly small actions that the magic of intimacy unfolds. As you reflect on your own relationships, ask yourself, are you prioritizing intimacy or letting it slip through the cracks of a busy life? Remember, it's not about how often you connect, but how deeply. Stay with us as we delve deeper into the secrets of creating meaningful connections. Because in a world that often feels disconnected, intimacy is the bridge that brings us closer across all boundaries. 2. Common misconceptions. Breaking myths and building better connections. When it comes to intimacy, there are countless myths and misconceptions floating around, shaping how we perceive relationships and human connection. One of the most persistent myths is the claim that men think about intimacy every 7 seconds. Let's pause for a moment and do the math. That would amount to over 8,000 thoughts in a single day. Clearly an exaggeration. In reality, studies have shown that men think about intimacy an average of 19 times a day. Frequent? Yes. Overwhelming? Absolutely not. But let's not stop there. This idea of constant preoccupation overshadows the reality of intimacy and the complexities of human connection. For men and women alike, intimacy isn't just a fleeting thought. It's tied to emotions, trust, and deeper desires for connection and understanding. Here's another common misconception: that men and women want vastly different things in the bedroom. While there are certainly differences in preferences and needs, they're often not as stark as stereotypes suggest. Most people, regardless of gender, crave intimacy that feels meaningful, safe, and fulfilling. What bridges the gap between these differences? Communication. Let's think about the power of open dialogue. When partners openly share their thoughts, feelings, and desires, they create a foundation for deeper connection. Communication eliminates guesswork, fosters trust, and allows for a more authentic bond. In fact, studies have shown that couples who discuss their intimate lives openly report higher satisfaction in their relationships. So why is this so rare? One reason is societal pressure. For generations, we've been told to keep conversations about intimacy behind closed doors, resulting in misunderstandings and missed opportunities for growth. Breaking this cycle starts with normalizing these conversations, not as something taboo, but as an essential part of building healthy relationships. But the misconceptions don't stop with men and women. Another myth we often hear is that intimacy is solely about physical connection. This couldn't be further from the truth. Emotional intimacy is just as important, sometimes even more so. Feeling understood, valued, and supported creates a sense of closeness that physical intimacy alone can't achieve. Imagine this scenario. A couple shares their dreams and fears late at night, laughing and crying together. That moment of vulnerability is intimacy in its purest form, and it can strengthen a relationship in profound ways. Now, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Addressing these misconceptions isn't just about improving personal relationships. It's about creating a society that values connection, empathy, and understanding. When we debunk harmful myths, we pave the way for healthier relationships and a more compassionate world. So, how can we as individuals make a difference? Start with yourself. Challenge the myths you've grown up believing. Take the time to learn about your own needs and desires, and don't shy away from communicating them to your partner. Support others in having these conversations as well. Imagine a world where everyone feels safe discussing their thoughts and emotions without fear of judgment. Imagine the ripple effect of healthier, more connected relationships, families that thrive, friendships that deepen, and communities that support one another. The truth is, intimacy isn't about how often someone thinks about it or how well they fit into societal expectations. It's about connection, genuine, meaningful connection that bridges gaps and brings people closer together. As you reflect on your own life, ask yourself, what myths about intimacy have held you back? What steps can you take to foster deeper connections? By breaking down these misconceptions, we can build a future where intimacy is celebrated, understood, and nurtured, not misunderstood. Stay tuned as we explore more myths, truths, and actionable steps to improve your relationships. Let's create a world where connection is the ultimate goal, and intimacy is a bridge that unites us all. 3. Physical and emotional realities of intimacy. Embracing connection and understanding. Intimacy, whether physical, emotional, or a blend of both, is central to human connection. Yet, despite its importance, many of us feel anxiety, uncertainty, or even pressure around this deeply personal experience. It's easy to assume that intimacy is straightforward, that it's all about the physical act, but the reality is much more nuanced. The physical and emotional dynamics of intimacy are complex, and understanding them can lead to deeper, more fulfilling connections. Let's start with something many men face: performance anxiety. It's more common than you might think. Almost half of men experience this at some point in their lives. Whether it's the pressure to live up to expectations, insecurities about body image, or concerns about how their partner might perceive them, performance anxiety can affect how men feel during intimate moments. But here's the good news: performance anxiety is not a permanent barrier. With open communication, self-compassion, and sometimes even professional help, it's something that can be worked through. By addressing performance anxiety head-on, men can better focus on the connection they share with their partners. Rather than worrying about perfection, they can embrace the idea that intimacy is more about the experience and the bond between two people than it is about performance. The truth is, no one is expecting perfection. They're just looking for authenticity and connection. Now, let's turn the focus to women, who often experience intimacy in a different way. Many women find that emotional connection is just as, if not more, important than the physical act itself. Studies show that women often prioritize foreplay, the moments of emotional connection, touch, and tenderness that lead up to intimacy. It's not just about the final act. It's about how they feel emotionally and mentally before, during, and after the experience. For women, feeling understood, valued, and cared for in the lead up to intimacy can set the stage for a more fulfilling and meaningful connection. This isn't just about physical touch, it's about the conversation, the shared experiences, and the comfort of knowing that their partner truly understands them. This emotional investment makes the physical experience more enjoyable and deeper, proving once again that intimacy is much more than a physical act. It's about emotional closeness. Interestingly, while physical intimacy can be an essential part of many relationships, the length of time spent together is also crucial to satisfaction. Research reveals that 70% of Americans report their intimate sessions last somewhere between 15 minutes to an hour. This shows that quality, rather than quantity, plays a significant role in fulfilling intimate experiences. The key isn't how long it lasts, it's how present you are in the moment. Being truly engaged with your partner, focusing on the connection rather than the clock, can create a much richer experience. It's also important to note that the pace of intimacy is not the same for everyone. For some, short but passionate sessions can be just as fulfilling as longer ones. For others, extended moments of closeness and connection build the emotional and physical bond in a different way. The goal should always be to find what works best for both partners, fostering a relationship where communication, empathy, and understanding are at the forefront. But what happens when physical and emotional needs aren't fully met? The good news is that there are actionable steps to improve these dynamics. Open and honest communication is crucial. It's about having the courage to talk about your needs, your desires, and your concerns with your partner. The more you share, the easier it becomes to understand each other's wants and boundaries. This helps remove anxiety and pressures, creating a safer and more supportive environment for both partners. Let's also think about how society's evolving views on intimacy play a role in shaping these realities. In the past, intimacy was often shrouded in secrecy and shame, leading to misunderstandings and dissatisfaction. Today, there's a growing movement toward openness, acceptance, and normalization of diverse experiences of intimacy. People are beginning to understand that intimacy isn't one size fits all. It's a deeply personal experience that can look different for every individual and relationship. By embracing this shift, we create a society that values emotional connection and communication as much as physical satisfaction. We move away from harmful stereotypes and unrealistic expectations, opting instead for healthier, more fulfilling relationships where both emotional and physical intimacy can thrive. Let's take a moment to reflect. How often do we focus solely on the physical aspects of intimacy? How often do we acknowledge the emotional and psychological elements that contribute to a truly connected experience? By expanding our definition of intimacy, we create space for more holistic and compassionate relationships. As we work together to break down misconceptions and foster understanding, we'll see a shift in how we approach intimacy, one where it's not just about performance, but about connection, care, and shared experiences. In your own life, take a moment to think about how you can nurture both the physical and emotional aspects of intimacy. Start with open conversations, build trust, and make room for both partners to express their needs and desires. The goal is simple: to create an intimate experience that honors both the body and the heart. 4. Cultural and personal preferences in intimacy. Celebrating diversity and individuality. Intimacy is a beautiful, deeply personal experience. Yet, it's influenced by a variety of factors: our cultural backgrounds, personal beliefs, and individual preferences. These elements come together to shape how we view and engage in intimate moments. While the universal desire for connection remains constant, the way we experience intimacy is uniquely different for each person and culture. Let's explore how personal preferences and cultural influences contribute to the richness and diversity of intimacy, and why it's important to embrace these differences in a positive and inclusive way. First, let's talk about personal preferences, a key factor in shaping how we connect with others intimately. Preferences can span a wide range, from things like grooming habits to how we approach foreplay. For instance, some people prefer a clean and polished look, while others might feel more comfortable with a more natural appearance. Some individuals place great importance on physical touch and foreplay, while others may prefer to jump straight to the main event. And that's perfectly okay. Personal preferences are shaped by so many things: our experiences, what we've been taught, our upbringing, and even the types of relationships we've had in the past. What's important to understand is that these preferences are valid and personal. There is no one-size-fits-all when it comes to intimacy. What works for one person or relationship may not be the same for another. That's the beauty of intimacy. It's incredibly diverse and open to exploration. For example, some individuals might feel most connected when they focus on emotional intimacy first, using words and affectionate gestures to create a safe space before anything physical occurs. For others, the physical aspect of intimacy is what helps them feel closest to their partner, building trust and deepening the bond. These preferences don't make one person's experience more correct than another's. They just reflect the rich diversity of human connection. But preferences don't just stop at individual choices. They are also shaped by the cultural environments we come from. Each culture has its own set of values, beliefs, and practices surrounding intimacy. From the way relationships are viewed to how public displays of affection are interpreted, culture plays a huge role in how intimacy is expressed. For example, in some cultures, open displays of affection between couples are seen as natural and even encouraged, while in others, modesty and privacy are highly valued, and intimacy might be expressed in more private or reserved ways. Global perspectives on intimacy are diverse and multifaceted. In many Western cultures, there's often a focus on individualism and sexual freedom, leading to a more open and expressive approach to intimacy. Meanwhile, in some Eastern or Middle Eastern cultures, traditions may place a stronger emphasis on family, loyalty, and the privacy of intimate relationships. These varying perspectives provide us with a broader understanding of how intimacy is approached around the world and remind us that there is no universal correct way to experience it. Yet, despite these cultural differences, there is a growing trend toward global acceptance and appreciation of the many ways intimacy can be expressed. As societies become more interconnected through technology and travel, individuals are exposed to different practices, beliefs, and values. This exposure fosters greater understanding, acceptance, and respect for diverse expressions of intimacy. It's an exciting time where people are beginning to appreciate that intimacy is not just physical, it's also emotional, mental, and deeply rooted in connection. No matter where you come from, It's also important to highlight how personal beliefs shape our approach to intimacy. Our beliefs, often tied to religion, societal expectations, and family upbringing, influence what we consider appropriate, acceptable, and desirable in intimate relationships. Some people might value purity or waiting until marriage, while others might adopt a more liberal or relaxed stance. These beliefs are deeply personal, and respecting them is key to fostering a healthy and respectful relationship. The beauty of intimacy is that it is flexible and can adapt to our personal values while still being a source of joy, connection, and fulfillment. As we move into a more modern and progressive world, there is a growing shift toward open-mindedness and understanding. Many people are beginning to embrace the fact that there is no right or wrong way to experience intimacy, just as there is no single right way to love. This shift encourages positive conversations about what intimacy means for each person, creating spaces for openness and acceptance. We can now have more honest discussions about sexual health, desires, and needs, which helps to break down harmful stigmas and promotes a culture of respect and empathy. Furthermore, this cultural shift allows for greater inclusion of LGBTQ+ communities, non-monogamous relationships, and other diverse forms of connection. As society becomes more accepting, intimacy is being redefined to include more people and relationships, proving that intimacy isn't just for one type of person, but for everyone, regardless of gender, sexuality, or background. This is a vital step forward in creating a world that is more compassionate and inclusive. Finally, let's not forget the importance of communication in navigating cultural and personal preferences in intimacy. Open and honest conversations between partners are essential to understanding each other's needs and desires. By discussing preferences, boundaries, and desires, couples can build stronger, more trusting relationships. It's also essential to be mindful of the fact that preferences can change over time, and that's perfectly normal. Relationships grow, and so do the ways we experience intimacy. In conclusion, intimacy is a deeply personal and multifaceted experience that varies greatly across individuals and cultures. By embracing cultural diversity, respecting personal preferences, and fostering open communication, we can create more fulfilling and positive intimate experiences. Whether it's the importance of foreplay, grooming habits, or emotional connection, each of us brings our own unique perspective to the table. By respecting and honoring these differences, we can cultivate relationships that are richer, more meaningful, and inclusive, creating a world where intimacy is celebrated in all its forms. So, the next time you find yourself thinking about intimacy, remember, it's about connection, respect, and honoring what works best for both you and your partner. Embrace the diversity, communicate openly, and enjoy the beautiful and unique experience that intimacy can bring. 5. Biological truths about intimacy. Understanding the intricacies of the human body. Intimacy is more than just an emotional connection. It's deeply rooted in our biological makeup. There are fascinating aspects of the human body that many people don't fully understand. Yet these biological truths shape how we experience intimacy on a daily basis. Whether it's the natural occurrences of our bodies or the incredible intricacies of anatomy, these elements highlight just how amazing and complex we are as human beings. Let's dive into some key biological truths that not only demystify intimacy, but also reveal just how important it is to understand and appreciate our bodies. One of the most common biological occurrences many people experience is morning arousal. Now, this isn't always linked to sexual desire or attraction. It's actually a natural physiological response. Morning arousal is often the result of the body's hormonal changes, particularly the rise in testosterone levels during sleep. It's a normal, healthy process that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with being in the mood for intimacy. It's simply the body doing its job and balancing hormones. Recognizing this can help us understand that not every moment of physical arousal needs to be seen through a sexual lens. It's a normal part of life, and it's important to approach it with curiosity and understanding. Speaking of curiosity, let's talk about the clitoris, one of the most fascinating and often misunderstood parts of the female anatomy. Did you know the clitoris contains over 15,000 nerve endings? That's more than any other part of the human body. This incredible concentration of nerve endings makes it one of the most sensitive areas of the body, contributing to a person's experience of pleasure. Understanding this highlights the intricate design of human anatomy and the importance of recognizing and respecting the unique aspects of intimacy for both partners. It's a reminder of how much knowledge and understanding can enhance our intimate experiences and help create more fulfilling connections. What's even more remarkable is how these biological truths impact not only how we experience intimacy, but how we perceive our bodies. Empowering ourselves with knowledge about our anatomy fosters a greater appreciation for our physical selves and enhances our emotional connection with others. This isn't just about intimacy. It's about understanding the incredible design of the human body and how we can use that knowledge to cultivate healthier, more satisfying relationships. So, whether it's the natural, biological occurrences like morning arousal or the astonishing intricacies of the clitoris, understanding these facts helps us see intimacy in a new light. It shifts the conversation to one of respect, curiosity, and appreciation for the amazing things our bodies do. By embracing these biological truths, we open ourselves up to more authentic and positive experiences in our relationships, creating a culture where knowledge and understanding lead to better communication and deeper connections. Let's celebrate the fascinating nature of our bodies and take a step toward fostering a more open, educated, and respectful approach to intimacy in all aspects of life. 6. The orgasm gap. Did you know there's a measurable difference in how men and women experience orgasms? On average, men's last around 22 seconds, while women's clock in at 18 seconds. However, women often require longer foreplay, with 30% achieving climax solely through intercourse. 7. Relationship insights. Men who contribute to household chores often report more satisfying intimate lives, proof that partnership extends beyond the bedroom. Meanwhile, 90% of men appreciate when women take the lead in initiating intimacy, emphasizing the value of mutual effort. 8. Health and safety. It's crucial to prioritize health. Regular checkups for sexually transmitted diseases are essential, as many can be transmitted through close contact. Using protection can significantly reduce risks, but doesn't eliminate them entirely. 9. Fun facts and surprising stats. Icelanders are the most likely to use vibrators during foreplay, followed by the British. Foreplay isn't just physical. Setting the mood with lighting, music, and ambience can make all the difference. Orgasms can boost creativity, confidence, and even productivity. Intimacy is a complex, multifaceted part of life that goes beyond simple definitions. By understanding these facts and embracing open communication, we can build stronger, more fulfilling connections. If you found this video insightful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating content. Until next time, let's keep exploring life's intriguing truths together.